What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you're watching the live feed, as you can see, we have the one, the only, the host of the Two Pencils podcast. We are making our first collaboration. We're going to have to hop on to his podcast sometime. Mr. Lincoln Arnett.
What's up? It's good to be here, guys.
You know, I think it's awesome, though. Lincoln, you know, we were talking about it, though. Like, it's cool how all of a sudden, like, it was kind of like at the same time almost. Like, we hadn't talked about, like, you want to do a podcast, we want to do a podcast. And then we just came out and we're like, both doing podcasts.
So, the guy that owns the house that I live in, and I live in Glasgow, we had been talking. I didn't know him. We got to know each other at my brother's on his bachelor trip. And I ended up moving in the house that he owns. And we've been talking about it forever. And then one night, we're like, let's just record an episode, see what happens. We don't have to post it or anything. And then we ended up doing it. We thought it was good. And it was probably terrible. But we decided to roll with it.
Hey.
So, yeah. We don't use a camera. And now that I'm seeing myself, we made the right choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of hope that no one watches that video each week. You know?
We made the right choice because my dad's always told me, because I went to school for broadcasting, and my dad always told me, he said, you've got a face for radio. So he was correct.
No, you've always done it. You know sports. That's why I got you on here. I was like, man, we got to get somebody that knows, especially football, getting into it. I mean, I know football. Coach knows football. Mason does. But I know that you live and live it every day being a coach for the Falcons. But let's just get into, you know, we got a lot to uncover tonight. We're going to hit Kentucky. We're going to hit a little bit of the college football playoff, get a little NFL, and then do a little fun segment at the end. But starting off with just kind of, you know, we didn't go live the other night. A lot of people had asked why we didn't go live. Multiple reasons. Colton and Mason were at the game. I don't know if it would have been a healthy conversation to have immediately coming off that.
Good.
So, you know, I think we would have played off a little bit more emotions more than anything. But I'm not really going to – usually, you know, I like to throw up the stats. The score was Kentucky 59, Gonzaga 94. I don't really think we need to get into the stats. The stats are – I mean, you can just read the score for itself. But real quick, just kind of set the stage because, Colton, this is your second game in a row that you've been to. Mason, you was at the game as well. So let's let Mason kind of talk about that environment in Nashville and the dynamic that brings and how it might be a little different than maybe to that Rupp Arena environment. Let Colton kind of talk maybe about the difference, you know, because, I mean, both are great atmospheres, but just what was it like coming into the game, like the atmosphere itself?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think everybody was excited. You know, it's full of blue like it always is down there in Nashville. You know, you'd see a few Gonzaga fans here and there, but I mean, 98% of it was all blue. Everybody was kind of excited, you know, hoping for a little bit of optimism, especially like a lot of people got there and saw Jalen Lowe was warming up. You know, he was going to be active, so I think it brought a little bit more optimism. And then I'll tell you, within about the first 3 minutes, you could just feel the entire mood in that place shift. You know, everybody, people around me yelling, screaming, you know, figure it out. What's going on? You know, those first two possessions, you know, we throw it out of bounds. First two possessions in a row, you know, and everybody kind of around you. It's like everybody was standing for probably the first 2 or 3 minutes. And then after those two turnovers, it's like everybody just sit down. You could feel the whole just mood and vibe just be taken out of the arena. And it was like, oh, here we go.
So, Colton, what about the difference? Like, what is it like walking into Rupp Arena? Because I know you hear a lot about, you know, how it's full of the old timers, maybe per se, and the ones who have those tickets. Nashville is a little bit of a different environment. Am I right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it was, like Mason said, it was 98% Kentucky. I mean, and you don't have as many of those old ones like there. So, like, people were ready to be excited, even coming off of what we've come off of the loss with the first 3 losses. Right, I was at the North Carolina game also, and that place was packed, and it was midnight, and people were standing. Like, I mean, Lincoln was there, right? I mean, he can vouch for it. It was packed, wasn't it, Lincoln?
It was rocking.
I mean, it was rocking the midnight,
Yeah.
and so I mean, everyone was still, and then they still show up to Nashville, and I mean, like Mason said, you got to understand. Me and Lincoln witnessed 2 field goals in the final 13 minutes of that Kentucky North Carolina game, and at the 11, I think 16 mark of the Gonzaga game, we only had 2 points, and they were 1 free throw apiece. So I almost watched an entire half of Kentucky basketball, and 2 field goals.
Maybe you should stop going.
No longer will I go.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I will not be at another game this year. No more. No more. But I mean, yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, the crowd was never in it. I mean, I think at one point we cheered when we cut it from like 28 to 25.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
I had heard that as well, a little sarcastically. So Lincoln, they talking about this booing. Was you at the Nashville game?
No.
Okay.
Luckily, I coach basketball too, and luckily we had a game that night.
Okay, so, but I'm sure you've seen highlights, you've seen the booing, you've heard the booing, and like I could hear it from the TV, and in actual arena itself, Bridgestone, I'm sure it was loud. So, I guess my question, Lincoln, for you, just talk a little bit about this from a Kentucky standpoint fan. Is this something that was warranted and it was geared maybe towards that specific game, this specific team, or is it deeper than that? And that's what I got to thinking about today. Is it deeper than this team and this year? Is it something that has been a slow buildup for the past 6 years? You talk about, and we've not made it to the Elite Eight since 2019. In 2020 was the COVID year. 21, we missed the tournament. 22, bounced the first round. 23, made it only to the second round. Then after that, we got bounced the first round. Then last year, we finally made a Sweet 16. We've not made it to the SEC tournament championship, the SEC championship game since 2019. For the past 6 years, this has not been our standard. So has it been a slow build up? What's your take on that? Or was it just warranted just for this season?
I would almost say it was just warranted for this season because you see, like, I can get losing. You're going to lose games, but there's times where they just don't look like they care. They look like they would rather be anywhere else. To me, there's something going on internally. I don't know what it is, but something's going on. And they asked Mark Pope about it. And he said he totally gets it. He's played for the state of Kentucky. He knows. He said it was warranted, and I agree with him. It's just I don't know, man. Something's going on. But this season is turning into a disaster quick. I'm still optimistic that they can turn it around, but something's got to happen quick, man.
Colton, Mason, do you agree, or is it kind of maybe an agreement with both? Is it a something slow build up, or is it more of the take? Because I'll be honest with you, when I got to thinking about this, I do think it's this season, but I would be remiss if I didn't say that I think it's also been a slow build up from those fans, in particular, the fans that were at the Nashville game, because those are your fans that are not going to go to Rupp Arena. Those are your fans who will go to this game and this game alone. And those are the types of games that they can only afford, or maybe not afford, but maybe get to because of so many ticket holders holding their place for so long. And these are the real Kentucky fans that are across the state and across other states. And for me, I think if I was at that game, it would be towards this team, but also internally, we're in a 6-year drought that I was hearing I was reading something like this could be the worst 6 years of Kentucky basketball, that like for the longest amount of period. And I mean, if you think about it, I mean, since we've been living, I would for sure say, yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. And I mean, if you get to be thinking about before our time, I mean, is it wrong to think that? I mean, do you all agree? Colton, Mason, what's your thoughts on that?
So I don't think it's necessarily a build-up. I think it's more directed towards this season. I actually think the build-up is kind of coming from some of the people that want to act like it's from the build-up more so than just like this current team, because I think they're trying to take a little bit off of Pope. Yes, obviously we haven't achieved what we wanted to do, but guys, we weren't getting beat by 40 to Gonzaga. Like that's not like we don't do that. You may lose a close game in a big time game. Like we used to complain about Cal going on that streak of not winning those, some of those bigger games like the Champions Classic. We weren't getting beat by 40 to Gonzaga with a $22 million roster. Like that's warranted.
We did
like
to Duke.
the booing, by 40 to 22 million, and they had the best Zion Williamson. Like we got beat by Gonzaga, like 40. That's not Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett. That's not them.
Well, to go along with that though,
Gonzaga
getting
beat
by 40
40
is one thing. Getting beat by 40 though at a home court advantage, it's not. I mean, I might get it if it was at a neutral site or even better yet, a true road game. This was 98. The way that I'm hearing from everybody, this was 98% Kentucky. And for it to be such an important game, like Lincoln said, like these guys are just not even showing up. Like there's something internally wrong, which leads me to our next little point here, Mason. Hearing a lot of people on the radio, online, wherever it is, whatever platform it is, I'm constantly reading and hearing things such as, these guys got paid and now they just don't want to play. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think that is something accurate? Because my initial take on that is, yeah, I get what they're saying, but then again, all these other guys on other teams are getting paid too. So, what's your thoughts on that? Because I feel like that's coming from just maybe an excuse, like, well, they got paid, so now they don't have to play. Like,
no, I agree with what you said. I think that's just kind of people throwing some excuses out there because you got all these other teams across the nation that these players are getting the same thing, right? They're getting money. And you can't tell me all these guys, they're competitors, right? I mean, Denzel Aberdeen, he won a national championship last year. Tego away, we saw fighting him last year. Like, these guys don't want to lose. And like Lincoln said a minute ago, we've been saying it. I think it comes back to there's really something internal going on with this team. And I don't know if y'all seen Mark Pope on his radio show. He had a quote where he was talking about, he said, we're having a major overhaul, reconstruction. It's been super emotional and really taxing at times, and at times really ugly and violent. We're reconsidering everything. So, I mean, that right there just tells me, like,
that does not preach confidence.
That is not what you want to hear from your head coach. Like, we're reconsidering everything.
Yeah.
Man. So with this landscape where it's at, and this is not just college basketball, Lincoln, this is college football. I mean, this is all college sports, NIL. For the future, is there something that that we could get to the point where these guys have got to have some type of written contracts where if they don't meet so-and-so at the end, they don't get this allotted amount of money? Like, what's your this whole input on the NIL with these players? Like, should they be getting paid right away? Should it be something like it's a business? Like, we all have jobs. If we don't show up and work well and do our job right, we get fired. If you're not showing up and like adequately building on your resume or whatnot, you're not going to get those raises. Like, is that something we might be seeing in the makes of because of something like this? Not just this Kentucky team, but just in general.
I hope so, because I was all for players getting paid something. Because they don't. It's a job. Like you played college ball, but you both did. You and Mason, it's a job, and you don't really have the time to go work another job. But it's gotten way out of hand. Like, I'm going to use Texas football, for example. When they bring recruits on visits, there's 20 brand new cars sitting there and like, oh, this could be yours just by showing up and signing with us. Like, that's not right. And so, I mean, they don't have to go out and produce. They could go out and be terrible and they're still set for life because they're going to be making millions. They got brand new cars. So I would be all for a written contract saying you have to do this, you've got to do something, you got to perform. Because like you said, we all have to show up at our jobs. We've got to perform or we're getting fired. And that's life. So I would love to see something like that. I don't know how you would go about it because that could lead to players becoming extremely selfish if they've got certain incentives they've got to get.
It's a good
But
point.
there needs to be something because, I mean, it's getting out of hand. And at the rate it's going, it's only going to get worse.
Didn't Cal
And
just come
don't
out and like say something kind of about this? Like,
I think that's the next
Yeah,
quote.
his quote was awesome. He said, "Yeah, he was talking about." He said, "Man, we've got grown men with beards playing, and their kids are in the stands, and their first because of their first wife's alimony."
That's pretty good.
And that again, that's just something to consider and think about. But ultimately, let's get back to like this team in general, though. Colton, you said it best. You almost watched a complete half of a Power 5 school, not just any Power 5, Kentucky basketball go without a field goal. I told Claire when we was watching, I said, Claire, these guys, when I was watching on it was so discombobulated. I mean, like I can't even like I told her, I said, this looks like a bunch of little leaguers who are showing up to their first practice, who are they have no idea how to play ball, and they're just throwing it around and just trying to figure things out as they go. Like, it does not look good. I mean, in person, I know it had to. I mean, so how does that happen? I mean, how do we get to this point where we cannot score? Not just, I mean, we can't score one field goal, and then it goes back to Mason. These droughts that we're having. Colton, what if you're Mark Pope? Where do you, like when he said we are reconsidering everything in that quote that Mason said, where do you even go from here? And this just goes back to, the at loss of words that you've talked about him, that he looks so confused. I mean, what do you do? If you're Mark Pope right now, what is going through your head?
Well, first off, I think you have to decide whether you actually have shooters or not, because I believe he thought they had shooters, and they don't have shooters. They don't have shooters. Because, I mean, let's be honest, like Yelovich the other night, I actually do believe we actually got a few more better looks against Gonzaga than what we had gotten some other games, and we still couldn't.
I thought so too.
I mean, just couldn't. But like, let's say Yelovich actually hits 2 or 3 of those shots and doesn't go over 6 and airballs like 3 of them. let's just pretend that he actually makes them. Then your offense is looking like, oh yeah, like that's a great play. Like, so that's not helping any. But I think he now has to decide, okay, I don't have shooters. So what offense can I build that's centered around the post game, driving and back cutting? Maybe you scoot in and you try to make 15-foot jumpers. You can't make. I mean, I think you have to reconsider all these things, and maybe JQ's coming back, so maybe you figure out how can you incorporate him in the lineup. Like, what's your different offensive tactic? Because the worst thing is him being an offensive coach, and if you'll watch him, he literally is like this, like the whole game. Like he's like, he looks lost, which scares me because he doesn't know the answer. And if he doesn't know the answer,
we're in trouble.
We're in trouble.
Mason, I think, with Colton saying that, it just brings another point, thinking about coaches. And again, every coach is different. Lincoln's coaching right now. I've coached. Mason, you've coached basketball. Like, every coach has their different tactics, their ways about going things. One thing, though, I think that we all could agree on and say is Mark Pope is very passionate. It seems like up to this point, we've seen a lot of passion from him. But what we're not seeing is that intensity about going and getting in a guy's face and in the game, and let it be known, like, I'm going to not embarrass you, like, that's what, but like having that, like, I'm going to get, like, I know you're a college athlete, but this is unacceptable. Well, that's not his way about going things. But Mason, is that something maybe moving forward, like, you would like to see? I feel like that's like, when I think of I think of Bruce Pearl. He was livid whenever he was coaching. And I loved it. I loved that he was not afraid. And it also makes me think of what's Ole Miss, Chris Beard? No, yeah. That quote that he said right in front of his player, he's like, we got different players. We'll play different. Like, we're not seeing any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like we've talked about, this team looks so discombobulated. They don't really look like they're trying at times, kind of not really into it. So, I mean, I think at this point he has to make a statement, right? I talked about, if I was a coach, I promise we'd be practicing that next morning, 6 a.m. There'd be 4 trash cans on each corner of the court when you walked in, there'd be no balls for at least an hour and a half. And if that doesn't set the tone, guys don't want to run hard, then you start benching them. I mean, if these guys don't want to play, and I know that's kind of hard to say and do at the University of Kentucky, right? Like, how do you almost kind of punt on a season or try to make a point with these guys and just, keep taking the chance of losing games? But at this point, if you want to get this team back, you got to try something else, because whatever you're doing right now is not working. So,
Lincoln, we played ball together. This is where I'm at with this take, and it's really hard for me to understand. Like, you've said that there's something wrong internally with this group. And for me, if let's just say whenever we were playing high school ball, me and you got into it, whether it be at practice or even outside of the gym, not on the court. I feel like when we got on the court, we would realize, okay, let's put our differences aside. We're going to go win this game.
Yeah,
And
because winning. That's why you play the game. You got to put whatever beef or differences or whatever you've got going on. You got to put it to the side.
and that's where I'm a little bit confused on what it is internally that these guys are not clicking with, because regardless, whatever rumors that have come out and whatever it is internally that it is, I think everybody's wondering and still curious, like, what is it? If there is something, or is it nothing that has built up to something, or it might not be nothing at all, but it sure looks like when you're watching this team, they just, there's something missing. There is no chemistry whatsoever. So, like, what's your thoughts on that as far as, like, do you think that there truly is something that they keep saying that Louisville game? Is there something that happened inside that locker room that cannot be fixed? Or is it turned into, it was that now these guys, they just have no confidence when they get out there, and now it's showing in every aspect of the game?
I feel like there's definitely something. I have no idea, but there's just, like I said earlier, it just looks like at times like they could just care less. They would rather be anywhere else, doing anything. It's like they almost don't like each other. I don't know. As far as it, I think it can be fixed. I think they just need that one game, like in a big game, to just make
Right.
it all click. And then they could be like, okay, we can do this. We're a good team. And Kentucky, they are a good team. They've not put that one big game together yet, and they've got plenty of opportunities coming up. You still got Indiana this week, you got St. John's, then you got the gauntlet of the SEC. So I mean, the season's far from over, but I think they just need that one game to click, and hopefully that can bring them back. Hopefully JQ coming back. They say he might be back for the St. John's game. Maybe he's the missing piece. I don't know, but there's something going on, and hopefully it can be resolved quickly.
Yeah, I mean, talking about these big games coming up, Colton, leading into being a Kentucky fan. And I said this last week. I said, fellas, I have no reason to believe that we are going to win. And whenever I was saying this in preparation of the Gonzaga game, I've not seen to this point us play against a good team and have any sort of good outing other than maybe like 3 or 4 minutes, in my opinion. Some people say longer than that, but I wouldn't. I'd say 3 or 4 minutes of the Louisville game. And we were down 20. It was like we had to do that. Coming into these games, and this is not even talking about, who do we play tomorrow night? It's
North Carolina Central.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, they're like, I think in the Kim polls, they're like 350 out of 365 or something. It's awful. I mean, like, we're going to kill them. And if we don't, then yeah. But coming into the bigger games, Colton, what kind of confidence and, like, what are you looking for this team as a Kentucky fan? And like what do we need to see? Obviously we want to see a win, but at this point, is it even that? Or we want just to see just a little bit of, chemistry, a little bit good of offense? You're like, what are you looking forward to in these games?
Well, it's kind of like that North Carolina game, right? Like, yes, we played them close. We lost by 3, but I was with, a couple buddies, and we were talking the whole game like, yeah, we want to win this game. But even if we win that game, I mean, Lincoln can attest to this. You come out of there feeling very confident. I felt like I was watching 2 mediocre teams the entire game, like I just did. I mean, we played pretty good defense on Caleb Wilson that game. if you want to take away anything, like I felt like we played them pretty hard. But like to me, what I want to see going into these games is you have to develop some type of rhythm, right? Like to me, it feels like there's nothing, right? His plays aren't working. We're not running anything to get any easy shots, it seems like, whatsoever. Like I just don't feel like we get any easy shots. How many times did we have like a backdoor pass or some type of perfect play that had just a wide open shot last year? And now it just seems like none of that is happening. So I want to see, because if you can get 2 or 3 of those to happen in the half court, your defense improves and you get a couple running out, dunks or a run out 3, like a transition 3. Like you see a rhythm, but they haven't yet to be able to get into a rhythm. I would like to see what their longest run is. I guess it probably would have been against Louisville, against a good
Had to
team.
been.
What, maybe like 8-0, something like that. Like an 8-0 run, but without the other team scoring, we might have been like an 8-0 run in Louisville at one point. Other than that, I bet North Carolina, we maybe it was 5 or 6. Gonzaga, 4 or 5, maybe at one point, maybe if we scored back-to-back baskets once. So, look, Indiana is not that great. They're not. Like, they had them up there, but look, they got beat pretty handily to Louisville the other day. They also lost at Minnesota, which is not a very good team. So, if you don't beat Indiana, an old school rival at home at Rupp Arena on a Saturday,
Rupp Arena could burn down.
it was getting
Really
really
bad.
bad at the end of that North Carolina game.
Yeah.
The boos are raining down. There was a lot of things being said.
It was even worse.
People
in
leaving
Nashville, I feel
early.
like.
People leaving her. It will
The one
not
thing-
be good.
The one thing I would like to see is just to establish an identity. Like, what is our identity right now? What are
I've
we-
said that so many
What
times.
are we good at? What's one thing
Yeah.
we're good at?
What are
We're
we
not.
good?
No.
I guess we're very decent at a lot of things. What are we really good at? Nothing. Like, we don't have an identity at all. Like, we were supposed to be, Mark Pope's supposed to be a great offensive mind. And, I think he was last year because he overachieved last year, in my opinion. But this year, what are we? What is Kentucky? Nobody knows.
Yeah, I've that's a great. I've said that multiple times. We don't have one, like you said, Mason. I got to come to you and talk to you about it though, because your boy Jalen Lowe, Colton, talking about being able to get on these runs in basketball. These runs come from playing the inside-out game. You get a couple inside, then that opens up the outside. Then or vice versa. You hit a couple outside shots that opens up the inside. That's what we was counting on for Jalen Lowe to come in and bring in. Granted, I know he'd come off injury again. It was his first game back. But that was kind of what we were all kind of hoping for. And I know I'm just going to I know KSR for sure. They was all like, Jalen Lowe is going to be our savior and all. And I was like, personally, internally, I was like, break it down, guys. I mean, this one guy, he is not going to come in and flip this whole season around completely, especially seeing what we had watched up to that point. What is something that, maybe was there anything that was like, okay, there's Jalen Lowe, that's what we need? Or was it just like the whole game, like, this is not, he didn't produce what we was hoping for? I have my thoughts, but I know you talked a lot on him, so go ahead, share those.
No, I think he had a very mediocre game. I do think there were a couple instances where we got some better looks from him being in there. I remember one off the top of my head where he got in the middle of the paint, got a paint touch, and Colin Chandler was wide open in the corner for a 3. Granted, it wasn't a great pass. It was kind of a tough pass, but still one of the better looks we probably had in the last 3 or 4 games against high-level opponents. So I do think he was very mediocre. I also think at this point, a couple of things here. First off, I just think this team's confidence is completely gone, and I talked about this last week in our group message. I'm not going to say that we're not a bad shooting team, but we're not a shooting team right now either. And I'll say, it's different going into practice and just getting up shots, right? In rhythm, in motion, even if you're going full speed, they're going to have defenders there, kind of contesting the shot. It's completely different than if you get in a game and you're not getting those same type of looks and you're rushing your footwork or you're rushing your release or you're off balance, it's completely different whenever you get into a game and you're not getting those same looks. And I think a lot of that right now has destroyed our confidence, right? Because you see these guys taking wide open threes. These guys are not these bad of shooters right now. You're wide open.
They have no confidence
Exactly.
They don't even think it's going in when they shoot it, and that's the worst thing you could have happen.
Exactly. And that's just destroyed everything. And I think another thing, been another one of my complaints with Pope, and I get it. I get Jalen Lowe is coming off injury. But how many minutes do you think he played with like that starting group, right? I mean, he came in as like the second or third sub off the bench, I think. You know, he wasn't really running with the starting group a whole lot. Like, we just keep throwing these different lineups out there, and it's like, just pick something, stick with it, and let's see if it works. Go 8 to 10 minutes with these guys, right? Let them burn out of gas. I don't care.
That was a big thing in that. I mean, Lincoln can attest to that. That was a big, to me, even though it's very early in the game. I mean, we got up like 11-4 or 13-4.
Yeah, we were up 6 or something.
North Carolina game, and he brought in 4 other players. And
we were
the
down
next thing you know,
within
it's
4
like
minutes.
13-13, right? And he did that. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, that's a
Hey, these guys make millions. Suck it up and play.
right.
I mean, yeah.
I hope it's not because you think it's because they're tired, or you think it's like an analytical
there's
thing.
no way they can be tired though. Like, I mean,
they're not playing hard enough.
I don't know. It's the biggest talk in college basketball right now for sure. Now, hopefully, come February, March, it will be on the opposite end of that, and we'll be like, wow, this team look how we started and look at where we're at. So hopefully, that's what we can look forward to. It's a long season, we like to say, but then again, I mean, SEC conference play will be here before we know it. Let's get into some college football playoffs. So the playoffs, the 12-team playoff has been released this past Sunday. Just going to go through these real quick. Number 1 was Indiana Hoosiers. 2 was Ohio State Buckeyes. 3, Lincoln's Georgia Bulldogs. Number 4, Texas Tech Raiders. 5, Oregon Ducks. 6 was Ole Miss. 7, Texas A&M. 8, Oklahoma. 9, Alabama. 10, Miami. 11 was Tulane, and the last one to get in was James Madison. SEC had 5 teams represent the Southeastern Conference. Lincoln, just to start, we're going to go one by one. I want to hear what, if you had to give the committee a grade on this, A plus all the way, A minus, whatever you want, A to D, what would you, or A to F, what would you give this committee's ranking on this playoffs that we're going to see here in a couple of weeks? And then Mason Cohen will hear what your grading would be, and then we'll dive into a little bit more of it.
I would probably go like a B minus, C plus. I mean, I think I just have some questions. Like, my first question is, do conference championships matter? Because, I mean, Alabama just got boat raced in the SEC championship and they don't move. Georgia looks great in the SEC championship. They don't move. Texas Tech looks great in their championship. They don't move. The only change was 1 and 2, and they just flip-flopped. So, but as far as the teams getting in, outside of Alabama, I don't think Alabama should have got in. So I would go probably a B minus, C plus, somewhere in that range.
Cohen, what would you grade this committee on their decision here?
As far as the actual overall process,
let's just go the teams that were in it.
The teams that actually got chosen, I'm giving
let's do that.
And at A plus. And look, this just because
Hold on. We'll get into it.
So we're just A plus.
Yeah, just grading it. Mason, what would you give them a grading?
Sorry, I rambled.
No, you're good.
I'm gonna give them an A as well. I mean, my only question, kind of like Lincoln said, there, the top few seeds there, but I'm gonna give them, championships matter and things like that. But
yeah. I'm gonna give them a minus, below the A. So yeah, all right. So now let's get into it. Lincoln already touched on it a little bit, but I mean, the obvious is you have Bama, who is in with the 3 losses, who did make the conference championship. Lincoln, you already alluded to it a little bit. Let's dive in a little bit deeper, though. I want you to feed off why you think Alabama should have been left out. That's what you said. So what's your thinking on that? And there's also there's always this, SEC, they get the treatment like none other, and especially Alabama. Is it because it's Alabama? Like, what is, like, and I know you're a big Georgia Bulldog fan, but what is it that you think this committee looks at Alabama as like, okay, yeah, they have to be in, or, vice versa? Like, did they look at it maybe a little bit differently than that? And you're like, what do the other teams, not what Alabama done, but what did the other teams not do? And that's why we selected Alabama.
Well, first of all, I think they have the worst loss in the country. Florida State is a terrible loss. And I don't like when people say that you can't hold the conference championship loss against them because they had to play the extra game. I don't buy that because people get rewarded for winning that extra game. So why can't you get punished for losing that extra game? And to me, Alabama, they kind of peaked midseason. They had that good 4 to 5 week stretch where they did beat several good teams. But then you look at the last couple weeks, they looked awful and should have lost against South Carolina. They really struggled against Auburn. And they come into the SEC championship game and they rushed for -3 yards and looked awful. To me, I don't think they should have got in, and especially the fact that they didn't even drop any at all. Like they were number 9 coming into this week, and they stayed at number 9. That was kind of mind blowing to me, but that's just my opinion. I don't see how they got in. I think there was a couple more teams that were a little more deserving, but they didn't ask my opinion. So
Mason Colton, that's what a podcast is for. Do you agree or disagree with that? Do you think that Alabama should have made it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do. And
Yeah, I do. Well, let me ask. Well, before, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Okay. So Lincoln, my guess, would you think? Do you think like Notre Dame should have been in? Like who's the other spot? Like because
okay, so it's probably going to sound a little contradicting because they beat this team.
Vandy.
But to me, let's hold up. I would say Vandy. And then if we're going to go this route, okay, this is probably going to ruffle some feathers. Texas. Okay.
I'm not there with you with Texas. I think Texas deserves to be in. When you look at their resume, I think, go ahead. I'll get into mine on that.
I understand Texas has 3 losses. I totally get it. But let's just say Texas week 1 schedules Chattanooga instead of Ohio State. They would be sitting at 10-2, and they're in, no doubt. But they said, you know what? We're going to go play the best team in the country on the road. And they played them close. They beat them everywhere but the scoreboard. Got beat by 7. They don't have – I mean, they lost to Florida. That's a bad loss. But is it a worse loss than Alabama losing to Florida State by 2 scores? No. But I would think – and maybe even BYU. BYU has 2 losses, both to the number 4 team in the country. So I would personally take Vandy, BYU, and even Texas was more deserving of that spot than Alabama.
Yeah.
Before you all get into it, Mason, I want to feed off that because I am on also with Lincoln on this one. I think Texas deserved to be in, and for multiple reasons, like Lincoln had pointed out. I know that they've lost 3 games, but the same way that Lincoln was saying, they went and played Ohio State, a close game. On the scoreboard, yes, it was 7 points. It felt at times it was a lot. Felt like Ohio State dominated from start to finish. However, though, it was a close game. They also had, head-to-head wins over multiple college football teams. Okay, they go in. They beat Oklahoma. Okay, that's in it. I think
they beat Alabama.
They beat Alabama. Yeah, like those are 2. I mean, I agree with everything that if. What's the point of scheduling a tough schedule non-conference if you're not going to be rewarded for that? Because moving forward, you're going to see that out now, and that's something I sent you all guys a while back. Like, there's going to be no big-time non-conference games coming up
and there
anymore.
Shouldn't be. There shouldn't be.
Right.
I don't blame teams if you want to go schedule Tennessee Tech and Austin Peay because you're not gaining anything by playing these big non-conference games.
But go ahead, Mason Colton. I know you said you think Alabama, so go for it.
Go ahead, Bulldog.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. Obviously, we all agree that, like, the whole, like, the other, like, the Tulane James Madisons, like, they shouldn't be in, right? But criteria obviously puts those 2 teams in, where, like, that would have been ideal for a Vandy and Texas to both fill those 2 spots. However, with them in, to me, I don't, like, you can't look at Alabama at So you have to look at 10-2 Alabama, because you cannot reward someone for not, because Texas can sit there and say, yes, we went and played Ohio State. That is true. You also had the
And Georgia.
same chance to play, but Alabama beat Georgia at Georgia. Texas lost to Georgia
It's
at
true.
Georgia. Like,
Probably the best one in the country.
Alabama's win at Georgia is probably the best win of the year. Like, it is. And here's the thing. So you sit there and you have to really compare it as a 10-2 Alabama, because you cannot, like, it's that championship game is meant to be a reward. Like, you cannot reward other teams by not playing that weekend. Like, in what we consider the best conference from head to toe in the SEC, Alabama was the 1 seed in the best conference in that. And they're banged up. Like, they're starting tight end, the offensive lineman. Like, they have several players that are out. And if you watch that game, if they don't, like, Georgia didn't really move the ball. Like, Georgia had a punt block, and they were on this side of the field. They had an interception this side of the field. Like, that game is a lot closer than what the score says. But I'm just saying, like, Alabama had a stretch where they beat Vandy, Tennessee, Missouri, and Georgia 4 consecutive weeks. All 4 of those wins, especially because it was at Missouri, are all 4 better wins than Notre Dame's best win, which is a home win against USC.
I agree. No,
So, like,
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame couldn't be in. BYU just didn't have enough wins, right? Like, the really good team that they played was Texas Tech. Yes, they lost to them twice, but they got boat raced twice by the only really good team in the Big 12, truthfully, in Texas Tech. So, like, that hurt BYU. I agree. Texas and Vandy probably have the best arguments, but when you look at them side by side, Alabama beat Vandy head to head. And then really you just look at, Florida.
And
They had
Texas beat Vandy, Dad.
Yeah, and Texas beat Oklahoma, who Oklahoma beat Alabama, but Alabama beat Georgia, who Georgia beat Tech, right? You mix and match them. But at the end of the day, like, Texas had that bad loss to Florida. Alabama had the bad loss to Florida State. So at 10-2 is really what you had to look. Alabama was 10-2. Texas was 9-3. That's just how it is. Yes, they played Ohio State. That stinks, but, like, I mean, it is what it. To me,
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and Mason, you can feed off that if you want, but I also want to go to you. They've talked about Notre Dame, and to me, I think Notre Dame. The story isn't Notre Dame not getting in as much as it is now Notre Dame claiming that they are not going to participate in a bowl game.
Big babies.
What does that say about Notre Dame or what message are they sending out, and what is that going to do for the future of college football, if it's going to do anything, Mason?
Did y'all see what came out today? Did y'all see the thing about if they only have 2 losses, then they're in? Did y'all see that?
It's if they're ranked. It's if they're ranked in the top 12 when the season ends.
Oh, okay.
Like,
and no more than 2 losses,
it's not
right?
2 losses. It's if they're ranked in the top 12. I guess so. I mean, yeah, I would assume if they have 3 losses, they won't be in the top 12.
Yeah. I seen something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, I mean that's ridiculous. First they want to opt out,
and the
ACC
game. Champion will be in. The ACC champion will be in. So, like, Duke would be in, like, no matter what.
Yeah, and
like, that's going forward too.
ACC is.
Yeah,
yeah,
they ruined everything.
And I'll get.
I mean, they were the ones that really ruined it
in a minute, but yeah, I mean Notre Dame opting out of a bowl game. I mean, why are you trying to set that standard? One, I mean, you were just in a national championship, and then you're coming out and you're pretty much crying about not getting into the college football playoff and just saying, all right, I'm going to sit over here and pout. I'm not going to go to a bowl game. Like, it's still football. And I think at this point, I think they need to set a rule after this. If you don't make the college football playoff and you don't play in the bowl game that year, you're not eligible for it the next year. And that fixes this right here and there. I get some of these other teams who aren't great. Who cares?
Or get in a conference.
Yeah, just join a conference.
Yes.
I mean, they've been the one school that's benefited from this playoff standard because they haven't had to play, like, after their beginning of the season games, like, they don't have to play anyone the rest of the year. Then they don't have to go and play a good team in a conference championship. Like, they're the one that's benefited to get into these college football play, and then they get killed in the championship games every year or in the Final Fours every year. And you wonder, like, why?
Here's another recommendation. Like, that could fix some of this. But like Tulane and James Madison, awesome that they make it. But let's be real here. This is not college basketball. Cinderella runs,
It's another
these major
TCU.
upsets are not going to happen. And why don't we just have them do a play-in game? They're still technically part of it, right? Have them do a play-in game. They get you one extra big-name team in, and the winner of that goes on to be the 12th seed. Like, that fixes some of this. Like, they do
Like
need to
that.
do some – I mean, because, like I said, let's be real. Do we think either of these teams are going to beat Ole Miss or Oregon? Tulane has a better shot
They're
right
both
now, I
20-point underdogs.
Yeah. So, make it a play-in
Well, and
game.
that's what I think. If you're sitting at home and you're Texas, you're Notre Dame, and you're Vanderbilt, I think that's what they're looking at. Like, it's not the fact that maybe that they like if they was realistically looking, okay, yes, like Alabama, as much like they had 3 losses, yes, they probably deserve to be like that. That's what the logic I'm thinking they're thinking. But they're then looking at the Tulane and the James Madison, and I think that's where that frustration's probably coming from. Is like, there's no way that team should be in. Like, but it is what it is. The way that the system is. Lincoln, do you see? I said this a couple of months ago when Trey Turner was on. Do you see the college football playoff expanding again in a couple of years?
I mean, probably, because it's going to keep – you're never going to satisfy everybody. You know, you go to 4 – when it was 4 teams, the 5 and 6 seeds, they were ticked off. It goes to 12, the 13, 14 teams are ticked off. If you go to 16, it's going to be the same thing. To me, I do think 16 is the perfect number because these teams that have these buys, they're not playing for a month. That could hurt. That hurt. That hurt Georgia last year. If you remember, if you go back,
And Oregon.
last year, the teams that got to buy last year, none of them won.
None.
So I think it'll expand eventually. I don't know how soon, but I do definitely think it'll expand.
I think it'll do it next year. I think it's going to go to 14 next year. Like, I really do.
Well, if there's one thing that at least we're going to be getting a lot of good matchups. That is for sure, other than your Tulane and James Madison. But who knows? I mean, they may come out. So real quick, let's just go ahead and pick our winners for the first round matchups. You got Oregon and James Madison. I think that we all can agree that Oregon's going to wax them. Is that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then let's get into, Ole Miss and Tulane. I'm sure we'll all go Ole Miss as well. But let's get into the next one's Texas A&M and Miami. Who are you all taking with Texas and Miami? Or Texas A&M, I'm sorry.
I think Miami is – I said this on our podcast all year. I think Miami's the biggest frauds in the country. And
why do you say that? Give me a little bit of feet.
I don't believe
because
in
I watched Carson Beck play all year last year at Georgia, and he
Yeah.
never really won a big game. And Texas A&M, that's a brutal place to go try and win a football game. The 12th man, that place will be rocking. I don't see Miami being able to go there and win, but you never know.
Colton, Mason, do y'all agree? Y'all got Miami,
Yeah.
or you want to go with Texas
I'm
A&M?
going to go with Texas A&M. I just think that, I trust their defensive line enough to like be hyped in College Station. Marcel Reed's a little up and down, so their offense a little bit. But Carson Beck, after he lost Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey, like he is not the same person.
Below average.
Yeah.
Mason?
Yeah, I think overall that Miami probably has some better athletes and better player, more pro level players. I'd say probably. But like they said, going in Texas A&M, Carson Beck, we've seen him had a couple bad games this year. They're pretty much relying upon him to beat these good teams, and I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I'm going with the Aggies as well. I agree. I will say, is it Delk for Miami? Is it, or what's the receiver? What's his name?
You're talking about Tony or not?
Tony.
Tony.
Tony. Yeah.
Tony.
For some reason, in my head, Tony Delk was like, I was like putting that. I don't know why, but
Good player.
he's
good
very,
player.
yeah, good player. He is a star, I think. He reminds me a lot. I think I've said on our podcast, he reminds me a lot of Cheetah. I I think that he's an unbelievable talent. But getting into this Oklahoma and Alabama game. Coming into this game, I think this is one of those games that you always talk about as players and coaches. Like, it's hard to beat a team twice. And that's something that Oklahoma is, probably going to go against with it. But, I, I personally, after seeing Alabama play against Georgia, I know it was closer than probably what the scoreboard said. I just agree with what Lincoln had mentioned earlier is that Alabama was playing their best football midseason. And I just think Oklahoma is going to come out and cause a lot of drama. Like, I think it's going to be one of those things where they come out and win, and the drama with everything about Alabama getting in is just going to intensify. I can just see it now. Like, that's really my only reason why I'm going Oklahoma on this one. I think the Sooners get it done, and it's going to cause a chaos with people on X, on ESPN, everywhere. Lincoln, who you going with Oklahoma and Alabama?
Alabama will make me look like an idiot for saying they didn't get it. They shouldn't have got in. I'm going with Alabama. As bad as I hate to, I just don't. Oklahoma's offense is not very good. I think it'll be a low scoring game, but I'm gonna roll with the Tide, I guess.
Roll Tide. Mason, who you going with?
Roll Tide.
Mm.
Oh,
Y'all
man.
gonna make me be the loner?
Okay,
Coden?
well, okay, yeah, I forgot you chose it. I'm good to roll Tide. I just think the week off will give Bama a chance to be a little healthier. Bama actually dominated that game against Oklahoma. If you look at the stats, like they were outgained by like 250 yards. Like they just had the 3 turnovers in the territory they ended up. I think Ty Simpson has a week to actually study and stuff. You're not going through the brutal SEC gauntlet that they went through there, that stretch. I think they get healthy and they get being at Oklahoma. I think it gives Oklahoma the one chance.
Is it at Oklahoma?
Yes, it's its first round. So that's the one thing that was like, yeah, they probably it could cause it to be that, but I think Alabama's a better team. If you look at the metrics, Oklahoma's probably the actual one team that was like the worst in all categories that got into the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up our college football playoff. Colton, lead us into a short discussion of the NFL, and then we'll get into our last segment of the night.
Yeah, so I mean, we could talk about multiple topics. We'll focus on one, but just a quick rundown. We're possibly looking at an AFC playoffs that doesn't have Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes, as the Chiefs dynasty, I believe, has fallen. Now, will they fall
bad.
completely off? But if you watch the game, you know what's crazy is how many times have we sit there and watch? Like, okay, so the Chiefs lose, they go to 6-7. They're under 500 for the first time this deep in the season since I think 2013 or something like that. And really, like the odds, they got like a 10% chance of making the playoffs. Knowing the Chiefs, that 10% will happen. But truthfully, when you watch them, what's crazy is that how many times have we watched when the Chiefs didn't get the 4th down play and then there was a flag and they got it? Or how many times did we watch it and it was 4th and 15 and Patrick Mahomes scrambles and then they get it, right? Like every one of those plays that seem to always go the Chiefs' way has went the other way this year. The random tips that turn into interceptions, the penalties that bring back a big play, the drop passes like last night, like Rasheed Rice dropping the 4th down pass, Travis Kelce dropping the 4th down pass. Like all these things have went against them, so it just feels like the tide's turned. I think when Chiefs aren't going to make the play, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. Travis Kelce might retire. It'll be interesting to see if this is like the start of kind of the downfall where they kind of maybe blow some things up.
Lincoln, what's your take on that? Do you think
Yeah.
the Chiefs' kingdom has fallen, or do you think there will be some magical resurgence? Maybe not this year, but just next year, the year after, or are we seeing a slow deterioration of the Chiefs' dynasty?
I don't think it's completely dead yet. but boy, they look bad. They've got a banged up offensive line. They're not healthy up front at all. Kelsey don't look great. He's definitely not the same. But they still got Patrick Mahomes. So I don't think it's dead yet. They might not get in this year, but as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, I think they still got a chance. You can't count them out.
It's kind of like, reminds me of a guy who was playing against Lincoln's Atlanta Falcons, who just
That's
could.
cold.
You
That's
Seems
never could.
unnecessary, but I love it.
That's cold, man.
Not even
But
called.
still, if
We're not referring to a season.
Lincoln's
We're just
Atlanta
went
fan.
straight to a game.
Yes.
Yeah, I just had to throw that in there. But a man of the name of Tom Brady. But
You know what's crazy
Mason,
though? Tom Brady never once played in a game where he was statistically eliminated from the playoffs.
I saw it.
Is that not
That
the
might be the
craziest
craziest
thing?
stat of all time.
Never once played
That's
in a
insane.
game he was eliminated from the playoffs. That's my
stupid.
goodness.
That's insane.
It's a bad man. Mason, real quick thoughts. Do the Chiefs, let's just take it this season. Do you think that they are going to be out of the playoffs, or do you think that they will make this miraculous 10% into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they're going to be out of the playoffs. Colton or Lincoln one talked about how they're so banged up right now. I think that has a lot to do with it. I think, you're seeing Rashee Rice, you're seeing Travis Kelce drop some of these passes, which is not normal. They're not going to keep doing that, I wouldn't expect. But I think a lot of that comes back to, their O-line's not very healthy, so it throws off timing, it throws off things. Mahomes is scrambling for his life, it seems like, almost every drop back he's out there. They talked about beginning of the season, he was the leading rusher on the team there for the longest time. So, that just tells you a lot right there about what's going on. And I think that they probably don't make it this year, but I think Andy Reid's a smart man. He's going to, try to fix that lineup, protect Mahomes, and he doesn't need a whole lot of weapons out there to be able to make damage.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on it other than the fact that I think they're done this year, and I don't know, moving next year. I just Travis Kelce just has not looked the same the past 2 years, and that's sad because it reminds me of the Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. Like you always, when you think of Patrick Mahomes, you think of Travis Kelce. When you thought of Steph Curry, I at least would think of Klay Thompson. And when Klay Thompson was kind of slowly deteriorating those last couple of years, and although Steph's level of play was still great, the team's wasn't. And same thing with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Although Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes, the team itself feeds off that energy. And
Taylor Swift effect.
do what now?
Yeah.
Taylor Swift effect.
Yeah, that's true.
But,
I mean, ever
but
since
you take
she
that
came.
year that the Titans beat the Patriots in Foxborough in the playoffs, the first year right after Gronk retired. Like they made it, but like Tom Brady and the Patriots did not look the same. Like they just didn't. Their offense was not the same, and you see Kelce deteriorating, and it's just not the same.
Yeah. All right, Mason, lead us into our last segment of the night.
All right, so last segment of the night here, we're going to play a little game. So what I'm going to do is I've already sent Dylan a list of names, all right? And it's 7 names of coaches, players, people, things like that. And Dylan has tried to give clues to Lincoln and Colton to be able to guess who this person is, so they don't know who it is. The challenge in this game is there are 7 names here, and he's going to try to do it in 15 words or less. All right, so Dylan, you can't give examples of like initials or anything like that, to obviously give it away. Something like if it was LeBron James, you couldn't say LJ.
Can you not go off of this too?
What?
Can we not both work on this real quick together? Like you give one, I give one, so and then them two, so you can be involved.
Sure. Yeah, I can give a hint too.
Yeah, me and you both can do this.
Yeah, that works.
Are we a team?
Are me and Colton working together?
Yeah, you are a team.
Yeah,
Okay.
you are together.
Okay.
You are trying to figure it out. All right. So, for example, if the name was LeBron, I'd say GOAT, and then they'd try to guess, it could be any sport, but, you got to try to give examples.
My man. We're on the same page. We're locked in. Y'all have no chance.
Let's go.
All right. Well, I'll give I'll give the first one hint, Mason, and then we'll get going. Man, there's
All
7 names. We might have to try to move through this kind of quick. Or we don't
Yep.
have to end right an hour, but I don't want it to take 30 minutes for us to do this. All right, here we go. First name, cheese.
Aaron Rodgers.
Is this just is this athletes and coaches?
Y'all can
Yes.
decide on your
Okay.
Yeah, y'all go ahead. Y'all both give it an answer. Colton, yours was Aaron Rodgers.
Mine was Aaron
I like that.
Rodgers. I was Aaron Rodgers.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead,
Right.
Mason.
So I want to build off this. All right. Receiver.
Could it be Devontae Adams? No. I mean,
I'm assuming it's oh my goodness. Dylan acted like the
Let's
first
do
one
this.
was
Y'all can
hard.
each give a guess.
Okay,
I'll go Devontae Adams.
That's correct.
Bang.
let's go.
Lincoln right out the gates. All right, that's pretty good. What was it? 2 hints? That was kind of. I don't know if
words.
it was easy. If I.
So
Man,
we're trying to get 15 words or less.
Yeah, so there's 2 words
Yep,
in.
15 words or
One
less. We're
word.
at 2 right now.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna say 2 words. Bloody eye.
I could wrap it up if y'all don't get it here.
Man, one player.
Player, coach, bloody eye.
Oh man, I can
I don't know.
This
I
would
can
be
see
so
him
big
right
if y'all
now.
get this here.
I can see him right
Go ahead.
now. Oh my goodness. Give us another word.
All right, Mason, give it to him.
You got make a guess. Might as well use a guess. You get a free
Bloody eye.
guess. Just guess somebody.
Bloody eye.
He was pointing at the UK, like, is it a Kentucky player?
Kerr Creasa. Oh, never mind.
Incorrect.
I've got it. Do I get it? Can I do it? Can I let Lincoln know? I know who it is.
Nope. Nope. Lincoln has to give this guess.
I have no idea.
Wait, why can't I? I thought we were a
All right,
team. Why
Mason,
can't
give
we
your
help
hint.
each other? Hold on. Why
You only
can't
get
we?
one guess
I thought,
apiece.
Yeah,
You
but
can't tell him your
I can't
guess.
help him with his guess. I thought we were working together originally. Then what?
Nope.
Now how
Nope.
does that happen?
Lincoln said he doesn't know. All right,
I
Mason,
have
give
no
him.
idea.
You don't even need to
Mason,
say.
go ahead, give him the
guard.
second hint.
What?
PG.
Tyler
also-
Eulis.
Yeah, PG.
That
Yes.
is correct.
All right, so we're at
All right,
5
Mason,
words.
they're at 4
4
words.
4.
Oh, you
4
said
words.
bloody eye.
No, you
Yeah,
don't get the.
That
You
is.
don't get to give
I-
that. That
I
gets
don't-
count.
All right. Sure.
We didn't ask for a
All right.
second word. They just have to give us.
Mason, give yours.
All right. Bama.
Oh, God. That could be so many. I'm going to shot in the dark here. Nick Saban. Let's go.
That was close.
I was going to say
Let's
Bear
go.
Bryant, or if it wasn't exact, I
Let's
thought they
go.
might go coaches. Yeah, good stuff.
Let's
That
go.
was clutch.
How many words are we at?
We're only at 5. 5 words. We've guessed 3 of the 7. 5.
We're
Mason, this next one's kind of tough, man.
oh, boy.
Like, I don't know
Dylan,
what to
there's 2
say.
words
Like,
you can
if
say
I,
here.
like, what I'm going to say.
There's 2 words you can say here, and Colton will immediately know this. Say the broadest one you can for this person. Just say it.
Okay. Louisville.
And then I'll close it out with the next hint.
Yeah,
Y'all
I
don't
think
have it
you'll
yet.
close it out on 2 words. It was just
Yeah.
the.
I don't know that you could have done one on him, but
Whoa.
I've got one in mind. I don't.
Man. Rick Pitino.
That's where I was going.
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
Golfer.
Oh, who's the one that got arrested?
Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
Bang.
That is correct. Scotty Scheffler is the one who did get arrested. He did get arrested in Louisville.
Okay.
But that you head down the right directions.
I was on the right track.
And by the way, real quick, side swipe. Lincoln is an elite golfer. For those who don't know, I've not ever got the privilege of playing with him, but I have heard he is elite. Scratch. I mean,
It's yeah. If you're worse than me, if you're out there listening to this and you're a worse golfer than me, I don't know what to say.
all right, Mason. So they're at 6 words. Hey, we're doing pretty good with this. Mason, go
No,
ahead.
we're
We've got
7
3
words.
more.
It took 2.
7.
7 words. 7 words.
7.
Yeah, 7 words.
All right. Dylan, I need you to piggyback off this with your next word. All right. And they should be able to get this in 2. All right. North Carolina.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't say that because then it could go everywhere.
No, there's one word you can say here and they immediately get this. One word.
Okay, I've got two names come to mind.
You take your guess.
Okay. I'm thinking either Tyler Hansborough or Roy Williams. I'm going to go Roy Williams.
And I'm going to go Tyler Hansborough. I would have guessed Tyler Hansborough.
Nope.
It's incorrect.
Right, Dylan.
Lord.
Dylan.
Oh, no.
I know.
Please.
I already know what I was going to
All
say. I was going to lead
All
with
right.
this.
Ugh.
Lefty.
Oh, you just said different words.
Ugh.
I don't think you should have let off with North Carolina.
It's so you can get this in 2 words so quick. Do y'all have a guess at all?
The only lefty I know is that Page that hit the last shot, or right? Like wasn't he a lefty that hit that last shot against Villanova?
This is on Mason.
Maybe I shouldn't have went that route, but this is so easy for me. All right, listen. North Carolina, lefty, 3s.
I'm lost.
Mason screwed it up going off
No, I didn't.
with North Carolina.
Tank,
We should have
North
let off with
Carolina,
lefty and then
lefty,
went
3s.
I think it's who you were thinking, Colton. I just have no idea what his name
they
is.
would have
The point,
gave
no,
me
he
that,
gets
right?
the point guard. No.
It-
No, it's not him.
North Carolina.
I mean, we'll get it after this one if y'all don't get it here.
Who's a famous North Carolina
3s.
lefty?
How many words are we at, Mason?
We're at 10
I
now.
think 10.
Yeah. We're still good, but all right, stop
all-
buying so much into North Carolina overall.
Okay. Yeah, that's where you messed up at. All right, so here we go, because they're not giving answers. All right, so North Carolina, lefty, 3s, Kentucky.
Tayshaun Prince.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
gosh.
Wow.
He shouldn't have let off with North Carolina.
No,
The North
that's
Carolina
a bad.
game.
North Carolina was a bad hit to start off with.
He did, but I thought of that too. But if you say North Carolina, they're going to think of a North
If
Carolina
you'd have said
player. You
Kentucky,
should have let off with
then
like
lefty,
lefty.
we'd have saved
All
2
you,
words.
all you
there.
had to say was
Yeah.
possibly.
Mason, just take the L. Just take the
Okay,
L.
whatever. That's like his most iconic
What
game.
do we got?
Whatever.
We're at
My
11.
mind instantly,
We've got to guess 2
We're at-
words.
I instantly
at
went to North
3.
Carolina players.
Same.
No, we're at 11.
No, we're at 11. I think.
We're at 11.
We got 4 words and we got to guess 2.
Yeah, we got
right?
2 more and 4.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Mason, I'm like, I don't think they're going to get it off 1 word. I truly don't. So
I do.
I'm going to go
Maybe.
the other. You do? You think they will?
I'm trying to think of something.
Okay, let's not make it too obvious. I know what I'm going to
All
say
right,
if they
go ahead.
wouldn't. So I'm going to say the other word, and then I'll let you say the obvious one. Okay.
No, just say the obvious one. See if they can get it.
Okay, LSU.
That's what I was going to say.
got
To start.
Joe Burrow. You got Ed Orgeron. It's got
go with your first.
You both get a guess. You both get a
Okay.
guess.
You go first.
Joe Burrow.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
All right, sweet. That boy. All right, we got 3 words to
What was
play
going
with.
to be your next
Gotta
word,
guess
Mason?
one.
I was going to say cigar.
I was going to say
And then
Brian
LSU.
Kelly.
I was like,
something.
oh,
Once
Joe
you said
Burrow
it,
thing.
once you
Or
said
Lane,
LSU,
or
I
Lane
was going to say
Kiffin. I was going to say Lane Kiffin.
All right,
All right.
Mason, you get to lead the next one.
Oh, man.
Last one, right? This is like we got 3
Let's
words
make
to play
this one
with.
a little bit difficult for the last one.
Okay.
Let's make it all
right.
3 words.
All right.
3 words to go.
Man. Do you have something right now? I'm trying to think. Like a good one, but.
No, I was counting on you.
All right.
Neither one of them have hands.
I'll
Colton. Looks like we're in good shape.
We have no chance.
Dylan, do I want to
Come
give
off
one
like
that kind of narrows it down a lot?
Okay.
All right, I'm just gonna say this. It's kind of broad, but it'll get you thinking. No, that's not really fair to Lincoln.
Just saying, I love a challenge.
Oh, same.
How many words do we have?
We got 3 left.
3.
Dylan, you give your first one because I have 2 that I'm gonna give at the end.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I've got one. We're going to go with this as one word. Backwards hat.
My mind instantly goes to King Griffey Jr. Should I waste one with King Griffey Jr.?
Backwards hat. No, they wouldn't gone. They wouldn't have went to King Griffey. They're not baseball guys. Don't waste it. Don't waste it with King Griffey. I mean, I may be wrong, but I'd almost bet my money there's not a baseball player on here.
Backwards hat. I don't know any. I don't know. Where does your mind go?
I don't actually. Maybe you go to that. You guess King Griffey. I'm gonna guess an athlete that I saw with his hat backwards, and I'm probably gonna go with like Justin Herbert.
I'm going King Griffey Jr.
Both are not correct. Mason, give your other one.
All right. Do I have? Can I? All right. I'm gonna make this one word. We're kind of twisting the game a little bit. All right, but maybe we'll get it off this. All right. Short driver.
I have no chance if it's golf. This is all you, big dog.
Short driver, backwards hat. Oh man.
I surely will get this, Mason.
What if it's you?
Who's a backward? Is it me?
You have your hat backwards right now.
It probably is me.
Oh my!
That is correct. Let's go.
Okay, I was going to guess that, but I thought they said it was professional. I literally my thought.
You are a professional bulldog. You are.
That's right.
Backwards. I literally that's what I was thinking, but I was like, oh, they did. He said it was going to be.
And Mason, it was great because
I am an athlete.
He does wear a backwards hat, but he has one on right now. So I was just like, look at yourself.
Well, so I've never played golf with you, and I can't call anyone's drive short. And then you had your hat backwards, so I was like,
short driver.
Shot in the dark.
This once again uncalled for.
Yeah, that's 2 unnecessary shots on us.
Absolutely not.
Lincoln, thanks for coming on. You're going to have us on to the Two Pencils. If you have not listened to the Two Pencils podcast, go ahead, give it a listen. Always a good time having you on here. We'll have to have you back on. Man, let's get a win. I hope the Cats can, obviously we need some momentum. And that is what we need right now. So anything else y'all want to say?
I just appreciate y'all having me on. I look real stupid because here in less than 2 weeks, months and months ago, I bought tickets to travel down to Atlanta to watch Kentucky and St.
St.
John's.
John's.
So hopefully things turn around before then, because I paid a
I hope
lot
you
for a
can
hotel, a lot for a
find
ticket.
find something else to do while in Atlanta.
As long as Colton does not go, I think we could have a better
You
chance
got a
than we did
chance.
with him going.
You got a chance. I am
Hey,
not
but
going.
seriously, thank y'all for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank
Appreciate it,
y'all for having
Lenny.
me on. I'll definitely have y'all on sometime. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
As always, go Cats.
Go
Go
Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.